Welcome to Stoner Watch, and today we're talking about WandaVision's episode 1 and 2, spoilers and speculations. Stoner Watch, a YouTube story, men and women t-shirts, and coffee mugs, now available on teespring.com. Help support the show by getting yours today. I'll have a link down in the description. That's right, WandaVision starring Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany is finally here, and they get to officially kick off the MCU's Phase 4. Now, I have to say, without getting the heavy spoilers right off the bat, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was quite different from previous MCU installments, but they continued on with that great storytelling that the MCU has become quite famous for over the past 10 years. Coming in to direct the first two episodes, we have Jac Schaeffer. Episode 1 was written by Jac Schaeffer. Episode 2 is written by Gretchen Enders. Episode 1 has a runtime of 29 minutes, and episode 2 has a runtime of 36 minutes, give or take a minute or two if you don't count the credits or the end credit scenes. And yes, there were a couple, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. Now, we're going to get a total of 9 episodes altogether when it's all said and done. Now, they dropped the first 2 episodes on Friday, January 15th. Now, I'm a huge fan of the weekly release, but I was quite glad I got to see the first 2 episodes when they kicked this series off, because it kind of gives you a better idea what they're going for, or at least what I think they're going for. Now, like we saw in the trailer, Wanda and Vision are stuck in this weird TV sitcom world. Now, I saw some people online comparing this to the House of M storyline from the comics. I'll be honest, I've never read it, so I don't know how close this is or isn't. But we do know that WandaVision, Spider-Man 3 starring Tom Holland, and Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness are all connected in their own story arc, as well as the MCU's proper story arc. And I got some theories on that, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. But that being said, I am now heading into spoilers for WandaVision's episode 1 and 2. Here is a quick rundown of episode 1. Newlywed couple Wanda and Vision move into the town of Westview during what appears to be the 1950s. They attempt to blend in despite Vision being an android and Wanda having telekinetic abilities. One day they notice a heart drawn on a calendar, but neither can remember what the occasion is. While Vision goes off to his job at the Computational Services Inc., their neighbor Agnes introduces herself to Wanda and helps Wanda decide that the heart represents their anniversary, then offers to help prepare for the anniversary. Meanwhile, Vision amazes his co-workers with his speed at finishing his work, but is unsure what his company actually does. He is reminded that he and Wanda are hosting his boss, Mr. Hart, and his wife for dinner that night, which is apparently what the heart represents. Wanda and Vision struggle to hide their abilities while making their last-minute dinner for the Harts. While interrogating Wanda and Vision, Mr. Hart chokes on his food. Vision then has to use his abilities to save him. When the episode comes to an end, they make it appear that somebody's watching this like it was an actual TV show, though I think there's a lot more to it than that, but that's just my opinion. Now, we get a commercial where they're trying to sell a Stark Industries Toastermate 2000 toaster oven. Now, I thought the thing sounded more like a bomb than a toaster, but that's just my opinion. But it was kind of funny to watch the commercial, to be quite honest. Here's the rundown for episode 2. We have a little bit of a time jump. It appears to be the 1960s. Wanda and Vision hear strange noises outside their house to only find out it's a tree branch. The next day, they prepare their magician act for the neighborhood talent show before Wanda and Agnes spend the day with the show's planning committee led by Dottie. Meanwhile, Vision attends a neighborhood watch meeting where he's given some big red gum. Wanda befriends another neighbor, Geraldine, and notices more strange things. A yellow-red toy helicopter in their black and white world, a voice on their radio that seems to be speaking to her.
Wanda. Wanda. Who's doing this to you, Wanda? Wanda. Wanda.
And Dottie cuts herself on her hand and we see bright red blood. Vision appears to be intoxicated at the talent show and publicly reveals his abilities. Wanda uses her own abilities to make it look like simple magic tricks and fixes Vision by removing the gum from his gears. When they return home, they notice that Wanda becomes visibly pregnant. Hearing more noises outside, they go out and see what it is. When they see a strange beekeeper emerging from a manhole on their street, Wanda panics and their reality resets before the figure appears. The setting then changes to the 1970s as everything becomes colorful. In the commercial we get in this episode for WandaVision, they're advertising Strucker watches. Now, Strucker is a high-ranking Hydra leader that specializes in human experimentation. We see him supervise the successful experimentation on the Maximoff twins, where they acquire their powers from the Mind Stone within Loki's scepter, in the post-credits scene for Captain America Winter Soldier. Now, I have to say that the supporting cast in this show so far has been pretty damn awesome. I mean, they really help sell the sitcom feel of this show, but at the same time, they show us that that there is something just not quite right with our two main characters. Now, so far, we've met Catherine Hahn, who's playing Agnes, Fred Melanad as Mr. Hart, Deborah Jo Rupp from That 70s Show comes in to play Mrs. Hart, Teyonah Parris as Geraldine. They also have her listed as another character, but I will save that reveal for when it actually happens within the show. And Emmett Caulfield Ford as Dottie Jones, just to name a few. Now, while I was doing research for this video, I noticed that a lot of these characters have reoccurring appearances within this series, so it kind of makes me wonder if they're based on actual people within the MCU, of course, other than in Wanda's imagination, because as far as we know, WandaVision was not meant to be a prequel, so all this takes place after the events of Endgame. So spoilers if you have not watched Infinity War or Endgame, but Vision dies after Thanos takes the Mind Stone from his head at the end of Infinity War. So that was before the snap. So when the snap is reversed at the end of Endgame, he doesn't come back. So I wonder how that's going to play out. But also while doing research for this video, I noticed that a lot of people were saying that this really leans into the whole sitcom aspect of the show. Now, I would agree that they actually do that, but if you really listen to the dialogue in these two episodes, while it's supposed to be happening during a sitcom-like type setting, the dialogue actually hints at something more. Plus the yellow and red helicopter with the sword symbol on it, which is the second time that symbol appears, because we also see the sword symbol in the scene at the end of episode 1 when the dude is watching Wanda and Vision like it's a TV show, who's also taking notes, mind you. And the third time we see the sword symbol is on the beekeeper's back at the end of episode 2. Then there's the guy who's trying to talk to Wanda through the radio. That was pretty freaky. And then there was like the bright red blood on Dottie's hand. That was kind of weird. For those who don't know, SWORD stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Department. Its purpose is to deal with extraterrestrial threats to the world's security and is the space-based counterpart of S.H.I.E.L.D., which deals with the local threats to the world. Now, SWORD was first introduced in Astonishing X-Men Volume 3, Number 6, published in December of 2004, and was created by Josh Whedon and John Cassidy. SWORD made its first appearance in the MCU in the post-credits scene in 2019 Spider-Man's Far From Home. Nick Fury and a group of Skrulls operate out of the space station reminiscent of SWORD's base, the Peak 7, although Marvel Studios has yet to confirm if it is related or not. It was also originally supposed to appear in the first Thor film in 2011, but was cut due to legal issues. I wonder if the TV commercials are going to be a reoccurring thing that we see in the next 7 episodes. I mean, they were pretty funny to watch, I have to say, and I just can't wait to see what else they'll actually advertise, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So did you watch the first 2 episodes for WandaVision? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you like them? What did you think of these first 2 episodes? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I have to admit, this was not one of my most anticipated things that the MCU had coming out for Phase 4. But now that I actually seen what they have in mind, my curiosity is definitely sparked, and I cannot wait to see where they take this thing. So let me know what you think in the comments down below.